Have you ever spotted something in a theme park and thought, there's gotta be a story behind that? Well, you're in the right place. We're Amanda, Kevin, and Kim, the team behind Where in the Park, and we've spent years exploring the parks, creating seek and find games that uncover the details that most people miss. And now we're diving into the history, stories, and secrets behind those magical details. So grab your curiosity and maybe even a churro, and let's explore the parks together. Have you ever spotted something in a theme park and thought, there's gotta be a story behind that? Well, you're in the right place. We're Amanda, Kevin, and Kim, the team behind Where in the Park, and we've spent years exploring the parks, creating seek and find games that uncover the details that most people miss. And now we're diving into the history, stories, and secrets behind those magical details. So grab your curiosity and maybe even a churro, and let's explore the parks together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Where in the Park podcast. Today's episode is a little different than the ones we've been doing. We actually have the full crew here, including Amanda.
Hello.
And Kim.
Hello.
And we're going to be discussing Disneyland because when this episode drops on July 18th here in 2025, it's going to be the 70th anniversary of Disneyland. Like, I know a lot of people are saying, no, July 17th is the anniversary because that's what Disney keeps telling us. But according to Walt and even Roy, back when they were alive, July 18th was the day that the parks were celebrated as being, or the park was celebrated as being open, because it wasn't July 17th. That was the preview, whereas July 18th was the day that it was open for the public. And that's what Walt considered the actual opening day for Disneyland. And we're discussing what went on during that preview, though, on July 17th, despite my dedication to Walt's dedication of the date being July 18th. But we're also talking about dedication plaques. That's why I'm bringing up the word dedication 10 times right now. So during the episode that aired on ABC for the opening of Disneyland on July 17th, Walt read text that he said was going to be on plaques in the various lands of the opening day Disneyland. And some of those plaques may have been made. A lot of them were not. And, well, we're just going to discuss what Walt read during the show. And we're going to discuss, A, how the lands compare today to what he described at that point in time, and B, where those plaques should be if they were in the park today. So that's what we're going to be covering, and hopefully it's a really good time. But before we start talking about those dedications, I do want to remind everyone that here at Where in the Park, we do make seek and find experiences for you to enjoy at theme parks. So visit our website at www.whereinthepark.com to find both physical and digital game packs that come with a deck of cards that have images on them that are hidden somewhere in the theme park of your choice. The question is, where in the park? And it's a lot of fun for the whole family, solo trips, date nights, whatever you're up for. If you use code podcast10, you'll get 10% off your next purchase. We have 2 full-size games and a mini game for Disneyland Park, as well as full games for Disney California Adventure right across the way. So if you think you enjoyed the park now, you'll be amazed at how it's even better while playing a Where in the Park game. So now let's get started with this episode.
All right. So first up is Main Street. So when you think of the Main Street dedication plaque, you're like, hey, we already talked about this over in episode 4, where Walt is dedicating Disneyland. And yeah, that's the dedication plaque for Disneyland. I'm talking about the one for Main Street, though, where it says Main Street, USA is America at the turn of the century, the crossroads of an era, the gas lamp and the electric lamp, the horse-drawn car and the auto car. Main Street is everyone's hometown, the heartline of America. And I think that is so true. You have all of those aspects going on on Main Street. It is the crossroads of an era, because you're walking underneath the train tracks and you're stepping into, the early 1900s. And as you go down Main Street, you're walking later and later into time. So you got that. We've talked about how the gas lamps change to electric lamps as you're going down the street through time. Horse-drawn cars and the auto cars are going back and forth all day long. we've talked about too how Main Street is the little ideal, quaint little hometown, and you do feel like home every time you're there. So I think it's perfect. The one thing that you're not going to find is you're not going to find this exact plaque like in a prominent location at the parks. In fact, none of the plaques we're going to be talking about today are actually like in a prominent spot. They are featured in the opera house.
Well,
But we haven't been there.
They might still be there. Or
they might still be there. Yeah. When before it went under refurbishment, it was there. All these plaques were kind of displayed, but maybe, I don't know. We don't have pictures of it.
I can't remember last time we saw it. Do you check our photos to see if we have photos of these?
I did not.
Okay. Because I was thinking, like, I don't even remember, like, looking at the photos that people have posted of these. I'm like, we've taken photos of every single thing in that hallway. I don't remember seeing these. So I don't know if someone was like, that's not even what Walt said. Take that plaque down. I'm not really sure. Oh, spoiler, these plaques did not match one for one with what Walt actually said during the opening ceremony. We don't know if Walt got it wrong or if the whoever made the plaques got it wrong, but it is interesting. I think the sentiment was the same, obviously. It's just the wording was a little tweaked. I don't know if it's just cleaning up his English or something as far as grammar goes. I'm not sure what the reasoning is.
We have a number of pictures in the Opera House, but and of some of the signage, but not the plaques. So if they were there and we took a picture of literally everything else but those signs, I find hard to believe. So
because it's the same wallpaper, right, from the photos that we've seen online. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely in that exit area of the Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln area, but I don't know where the plaques went.
Yeah. So if you know, then you should contact us in a number of ways. You can DM us on social media at Where in the Park, or you can join our absolutely free Facebook group, Where in the Park Explorers, and share your pictures and stories and all the things there with our group.
Where do you think it should be placed?
Oh, that's right.
Wait, before we get into that, I did want to bring up that it does say horse-drawn cars, and they don't have that anymore, right? They have horse-drawn trolleys, but when the park first opened, they actually had like cars. They had the two horse-drawn buggies and stuff. So that has changed. It's one of the few things that I think from all these speeches or dedication speeches that actually did change.
That's true. We have seen footage of two horses pulling a car, and that was a trip to see, because that you definitely don't see that now. And I can't even imagine. One horse is plenty. And we've talked about that on other shows.
Yeah, she means it's tough enough to clean up after one horse. I can't imagine the trolley horse plus two more horses walking off the trolley track. I don't watch your step. That's all that we're saying.
Yeah, that would be a bit much. So in terms of where this should be, I do like where the dedication plaque is now for Disneyland. I think that's an appropriate spot. But this particular plaque, two spots come to mind right off the bat, either in front or on City Hall or the firehouse, that being below Walt's apartment. I think that would be an appropriate spot for the plaque as a testament to his words. I'm not sure if he actually wrote them, or it's possible that Marty Sklar wrote them, or somebody else. But those are our two guesses. Either Walt or Marty probably wrote them.
They're top two, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which would make sense. So if it's on City Hall, then, if it's Marty, then it's got to go on City Hall under his window. Check out that episode, because that was a good one. And if not, if it was Walt, then go over to the firehouse. But what do you guys think?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, it's City Hall, right? Either inside City Hall or like in the planters outside. Yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I
can't think of anyone else that would.
Yeah, I think City Hall would be a great place. And inside with the photos, if you've never been inside City Hall, I highly recommend going in there. And there's a little parlor off to the side, and there's a lot of unique photos that are up there with. I think there's some drawings too that are in there of the map. But definitely check it out when you're at Disneyland.
Yeah, just go later in the day after the crowds have died down, because in the morning it could be kind of a wait.
All right. So next up is Adventureland. And it's interesting with Adventureland because in the ABC series, this was actually saved for the latter part of the episode, and they were running really short on time. And so Walt didn't actually read the plaque or the dedication for Adventureland. So I thought that was really interesting. But the plaque should read Adventureland. Here is adventure. Here is romance. Here is mystery. Tropical rivers silently flowing into the unknown. The unbelievable splendor of exotic flowers, the eerie sound of the jungle, with eyes that are always watching. This is Adventureland.
I think in the episode, I think they actually just messed up, honestly. Like watching the actual way that they talk about it, it's like, hey, I think we forgot a whole land, because Walt, when he talked about Fantasyland, he actually said this is the last plaque. Like he hit the mark and he thought he did it, and I don't know how they missed one,
Yeah.
but yeah, as far as all the stuff that they say, it all makes sense. You have to remember that when Adventureland first opened, it was just the Jungle Cruise. There was nothing else over there really. And that Jungle Cruise wasn't the one we have today. It wasn't the humorous Jungle Cruise with skippers telling punny jokes. It was a very serious river cruise around animals and the jungle. As much of a jungle as they could make within a year over in Orange County. So yeah, I mean, it's more about what they were hoping to make the feeling of. Obviously, the Jungle Cruise is based off of the movie African Queen. So I mean, it's probably like they just took the synopsis for that movie and like rewrote it into this little dedication here.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I do have the clip of what was shown on the ABC program.
It seems to me we've been everywhere, haven't we?
Well, I hope so. I don't know.
Say, haven't we missed something?
Seems like it.
A whole land?
Adventureland.
Oh, that's my favorite. Let's go over there. Bob Cummings or somebody ought to be waiting to let us see that.
Well, we better hurry. We haven't got much time.
Take it away, Adventureland.
Well, this is Bob Cummings, ladies and gentlemen, again. And we are now at the beginning of a true life adventure into a still unconquered and untamed region of our own world. A Tahitian village where you can experience a slice of life as it exists in the paradise of the Pacific. On an African trading post, the spearhead of civilization in those primitive lands.
There you go. And we'll have the link to that video in the show notes and, of course, over on our blog that accompanies this episode, we'reinthepark.com/podcast. So very interesting. Yeah, Kevin, you're right. It does seem like it was incredibly rushed. We have 30 seconds. We need to say something about Adventureland.
Yeah, it could have been scripted. I really don't know, but like from what I've heard about that video, that live, it was very unusual to do a live thing like that back in 1955, and they weren't really ready for it. So I believe that he winged it, or all three of them winged it as well as they could. So as far as this plaque, though, like where do we think it would go in Adventureland?
That is a great question. So I think that the dedication plaque, it can go in a number of places. My first thing is that it should go at the front of the land. So maybe right as you're crossing over that bridge, you have some plant life and water and stuff right off to the right across from the tiki room that you can put that dedication plaque where it's like kind of out of the way, but still prominent. Or maybe by the entrance to Jungle Cruise, because that was, the opening day attraction, but that might be too far into the land.
Right. Like there's that planter there in the middle, but it's kind of high up. So I don't think you could put a plaque up there either. But over by the tree is kind of a weird spot as well. Yeah, I don't know. I think that wall would be a good spot for them to put the plaque. I mean, also where they just reopened, like I know it's by the restrooms, they put in the new fountain or whatever it's supposed to be with Baloo and King Louie, or I think Baloo's there. I don't know. In that spot, it could have had a dedication plaque put there as well, but maybe in my head, I think closer to it's tough to decide like where it would actually like make the most sense. The bridge makes probably the most sense because that's right when you come in, But I don't know. It's also a walkway that kind of gets congested, and people are usually just kind of like parked right there by that wall. I mean, I see why they never did it.
Yeah. I think the wall across from Tiki Room would be the best place, because if you can't put like a flagpole or anything, because it's too congested in that walkway, so it can't be an honor to that. So it's definitely, I think the wall's the best place, so it's not like by a bathroom, because you definitely want it when you first come in.
That makes sense. Just cut out a chunk of the wall and put it like right in the middle of it, or like 3/4 up.
Yeah, so that you can see it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that. I was just reading this this dedication again. It reminds me more of Pandora over at Animal Kingdom than Adventureland over in California, where it's romance and tropical. I guess there's not much romance in either of them, let's be honest. But the mystery and tropical rivers silently flowing, unknown, exotic flowers, eerie sound of the jungle. I mean, it just definitely feels like Pandora to me.
Yeah, you can just swap that out with "This is Pandora."
Yeah.
There you go. The eyes are always watching. In fact, the signs on both entrances of Pandora say "I see you" in the Na'vi language. So there it is.
Yeah, it's a nod to Adventureland. I always thought that made sense there. Now I'm getting it, I guess. It took me a while. It took me a few years. It's only been there for what, like 8 years now or something. So I'm on board now.
All right, well, let's continue around the hub. What land do we have next?
We have Frontierland. This actually doesn't have a plaque either. I did find something really unique, that as part of the opening ceremonies, there was a plaque that was unveiled in Frontierland, but it's not to the land itself. It's actually a dedication plaque to Walt, and it's from the American Humane Association. And they had the ceremony there just as if you would have unveiled like a regular dedication plaque to the land. But the plaque reads, "To Walt Disney, in recognition of outstanding assistance and cooperation in extending humane ideals to peoples throughout the world." And it's from the American Humane Association, and it says July 1955. We'll post some pictures on our website of this, because there's some really cool opening day photos that we were able to find. But we're going to have Walt actually read his own dedication to the land right now.
Before you enter this realm, I'd like to read this dedication, which will be inscribed on a plaque. Frontierland. It is here that we experience the story of our country's past. The color, romance, and drama of frontier America as it developed from wilderness trails to roads, riverboats, railroads, and civilization. A tribute to the faith, courage, and ingenuity of our hardy pioneers who blazed the trails and made this progress possible.
There you go.
Go.
There you have it. And we have seen other plaques that are similar. I think they add a little color to the wording. It isn't verbatim. Some say, colorful drama of frontier America and exciting days of the covered wagon and the stagecoach, the advent of the railroad and romantic riverboat. And it's like, okay, I didn't hear Walt say that, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it's still accurate, I guess.
Close enough.
Interpret it however you want.
It's interesting with the repeated word of romance. I didn't realize that both Frontierland and Adventureland were so romantic as far as lands go.
So where should this plaque go?
This, I think, needs to go on the fort walls when you're walking in, as soon as you cross over the little bridge.
I think they should put the Humane Association plaque somewhere else and put this plaque right there, right where that flagpole is.
At the flagpole?
Where everyone thinks this plaque is. I think this is where the plaque belongs.
Yeah, when we were first talking about this, you had asked, like, where is the plaque? And I was like, it's at the flagpole. Like, of course, it's right there. It's at the flagpole. And then looking further into it, we're like, no, it's not.
That's something else.
Yeah, and the actual Humane Association plaque was, when it was unveiled, it was on the ground in front of the flagpole, and it had since been removed and replaced, and it's now up on a pedestal at the base of the flagpole. But it's, I agree. If we can remove the humane one and put that somewhere else, because I still think it's warranted. But if not, then put it on the fort wall when you're walking through.
Or have the humane one on one side of the flagpole and then Walt's dedication on the other, and have them be like, here.
You have the space.
They do.
Mm-hmm. So Okay, so we are going to move on to Fantasyland.
Again, when we were talking about doing this episode, and when we were doing the dedication plaque episode, we were like, yeah, of course there's a plaque for Fantasyland. There's gotta be, and it has to still be at the park. And we searched and we searched and we searched and couldn't find it. And so if anyone has any ideas, please let us know. But to the best of our knowledge, this plaque is not there. Never has been there in Fantasyland. So I'm going to turn it over to Walt to read what the Fantasyland dedication plaque says.
Now the plaque reserved for last. A few words of dedication for the happiest kingdom of them all, Fantasyland. Here is a world of imagination, hopes, and dreams. In this timeless land of enchantment, the age of chivalry, magic, and make-believe are reborn, and fairy tales come true. Fantasyland is dedicated to the young and the young in heart, to those who believe that when you wish upon a star, your dreams do come true.
Hey explorers, loving the episode so far? Keep the conversation going in our Facebook group, We're in the Park Explorers. We'll have dedicated posts about the details from each episode, and it's a space where fellow theme park enthusiasts share their own discoveries, photos, and stories from around the parks. So come explore with us. Just search We're in the Park Explorers on Facebook or scroll down in the show notes for the direct link. Answer 3 quick questions to join, and boom, you're in. Until then, let's get back to discovering more details.
Then it goes on to show the lowering of the drawbridge into Fantasyland, which is awesome every single time that you see it, because that drawbridge doesn't go up and down anymore. And
I think it's done it twice, is what I've heard. On the opening day, then when they rededicated Fantasyland for a new Fantasyland in the 80s.
Yeah.
But Walt insisted that they spend the money to make that into an actual working drawbridge for that shot. So,
and it's pretty cool.
Wild.
So again, we'll post the link in the show notes for you so you can take a look at that. So you can watch the whole hour and 13 minutes of the whole ABC show if you want to. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. They're all written in a very similar cadence, which makes sense. But I do like that he goes back to being a kid and being young and being young at heart, because that's where this whole thing started. Being on a bench at the merry-go-round over in Griffith Park, watching his kids have fun and wishing that he could partake in the fun as well, not just from the sidelines. And so, having the young and the young at heart come together in this Fantasyland and in Disneyland as a whole really sums up that when you wish upon a star and you dream for big things, Disneyland, for example, that can come true. So I just think that it's a tale of Walt's tale in creating Disneyland. What do you guys think?
Sounds right. You nailed it.
Oh,
yeah. I can just picture him. There's times where you can definitely feel Walt's presence as you're walking, especially when you walk past the firehouse, and his apartment above there. But you can feel it when you're in certain areas where you can just know that this is what he wanted. And he'd be happy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Correct me if I'm wrong. When you wish upon a star, is that Pinocchio?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because that was not an opening day attraction for Disneyland. So like the corporate synergy was a little off with that one.
Oh, that's true. What's that about?
Just thought, I don't know. There's no point really.
Okay. But no, that is interesting, because Pinocchio came out when?
It came out before the park, but
yeah,
it wasn't a big hit when it came out, and It was re-released, I think, the year before the park opened. Because back before we had like home video, they would just re-release the movies in theaters again every several years for a new generation. And yeah, I think it had made back its money by that point, but they didn't have the ride. I don't think they even had it in the designs to have a Pinocchio ride when they first opened. So it's very interesting that they would lean on that. But I guess it's kind of been the song of the park from the beginning, maybe. I felt like it was playing a little bit during that audio clip. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a song for the company at that point more than the movie, but
Maybe.
just a thought.
Yeah, it could have been for the movie, and then it was like this is kind of our anthem song.
Yeah,
So, but yeah,
they still use it. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, and just to clarify, we know that we're not going in the order of the show. Walt had mentioned it. We're saving this for Fantasyland for last. This is not the last part of the show of the podcast. We still have Tomorrowland to go through.
Adventureland did end it on the show, right? So we already buried the lead with that one.
Yes, but I just want to clarify before we get the hate mail. We're going around the hub, not in order of the show.
We like going clockwise. It's just one of the things we do. Yeah. If you play any of our games and you sort it by land, you'll see that we're actually going in clockwise as we list all the lands out. So that's what's happening.
There you go. But yeah, as far as where this plaque could be, if you watch the video, he is sitting on the side of the wall, essentially, with the moat behind him. And I think somewhere around there is where the plaque should be, not on the castle directly, but either along the, what do you call those? Like before the bridge, leading up to the castle, along the side where most people take their pictures and everything, in front of the castle, that somewhere along that archway area.
There's like the walls around the moat, I think. I don't know if it has an official name.
Yeah. So the walls around the moat, where you can still see it from like the large compass that's on the ground, right in front of the castle. That's also where the time capsule is. I definitely don't want the plaque on the ground. The dedication plaque on the ground makes sense for a time capsule, not so much a dedication plaque. So, and you can't have it raised up or anything because that's a very congested spot. So having it along the walls of the moat, right about where Walt was, would be pretty cool. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it sounds like the right spot. I mean, I also like the idea of it being kind of in the heart of Fantasyland, like within the castle. I think there's like planters over there. I mean, when the park first opened, obviously, like where we've learned, if you listen to our first episode, where they have the sword and the stone, right? That wasn't there originally, so that could be a great spot for a plaque, honestly. As much as I don't want for that to go away because it does have our from our logo. If you didn't listen to the episode, spoiler. But I think it would make a lot of sense right there. Right? As you go through the castle straight ahead, just there's your dedication plaque. That's where I would put it.
I would maybe come up with something to hang it above in the archway of the castle. So as you go through it, then there's usually like a clock-like chandelier type of thing that's there now. But if you had it built into something like that where you're going to walk underneath it, kind of like you do the train station with that plaque there. But if we had something similar that you're walking into Fantasyland like that.
And I am so spoiled with the way we get through the parks. When you said the archway into Fantasyland, I pictured, I'm like, are you talking about the Tomorrowland side or the Frontierland side?
Yeah, no.
But I'm like, oh, right down the middle. That makes sense. People do that all the time. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that'd make a lot of sense right in that spot, right by the little shop there on the other side. Yeah. I get that.
I like that. I like that better than my answer. Okay, I'm gonna go with your answer.
I take back mine as well. You won. That's the correct spot. We'll send this one to Disney. Package it.
Yes.
Send it over.
Okay, done.
All right. And rounding out the lands is Tomorrowland.
All
Yeah,
right, Tomorrowland is it's my land to cover. It's interesting because before we have Walt actually saying this one out loud, so we're gonna have him say it. But I do want to point out that we do have proof that one actually existed, and then they recreated it kind of more recently when they redid Tomorrowland in the '90s. But I don't believe it's there today. We looked for it, we couldn't find it, so it's missing from the park if you go there today. But it has been there. And there's even been auctions for like older versions of it that have existed, and I don't know why that's the only land that really keeps getting the plaque back and why it's currently missing. But let's go ahead and listen to what Walt actually said.
Before our preview of Tomorrowland, I'd like to read these few words of dedication. A vista into a world of wondrous ideas, signifying man's achievement, a step into the future with predictions of constructive things to come. Tomorrow offers new frontiers in science, adventure, and ideals, the atomic age, the challenge of outer space, and the hope for a peaceful and unified world.
There you go. And then the release of the birds. Right out.
There it is. The atomic age. There was so much hope for the atomic age back in the early 50s. I guess mid 50s when this finally like opened. I feel like we don't really talk about that anymore. It's something that we're so excited about. I don't know. It's a different world now. We've had a few atomic disasters, I guess, since then. Obviously, like the whole like bomb situation was before this. Let's be clear, but there was a lot more hope. Yeah, as far as Tomorrowland, how it actually translated from this, obviously, if you follow Disneyland's history, you know that that land was kind of opened last minute where everyone had decided, hey, we're going to save Tomorrowland as phase two of Disneyland. But then Walt decided, no, it's going to be open with the park because we keep talking about it on our TV show. And then they opened what they opened, where they had a hall of aluminum and I don't know, other stuff that wasn't that futuristic. But the idea at the time was we're going to have companies talk about what they are working on and what will be available in the future. So therefore, this is a land based off of the future. And obviously, we had Autopia was in all of the original designs for Walt's park. And the idea back then was we didn't have an actual highway system in the country. So we were going to make a ride based off what the future of driving cars around our entire country will feel like. So that's the reason why that was a futuristic idea back when they built the park in 1955. As far as today, I'm not sure if it's really living up to the plaque. What do you guys think?
No, it's really hard because you can't have like a plaque that's going to encompass whatever the future holds unless you just say whatever the future holds, because things change so rapidly. And, this was 1955. So to them, that didn't seem like something way off into the future. And now it's like, we really need to revamp that land, but I still love it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of outer space that we have not gone to. Back in 55, obviously there was less. We hadn't actually made it to space yet. There wasn't a moon landing when this was written by, 14 years. So I get that, there is the desire for more in the future. I don't know if Star Wars makes sense in the future. It's a story that takes place a long, long time ago. It is a galaxy far, far away, but, it's still a little odd. It's not our future, I hope. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you take out the atomic age, the rest of it still holds true, right? Debatable of a couple of things, but I think if we get back to Walt's vision of Tomorrowland, what is man's achievements? World of wondrous ideas. What ideas are we coming up with now? Stepping into the future with predictions and constructive things to come. What do we predict is going to happen in the future? And like we've talked about this, on other shows of, that, and like we just mentioned, it's hard to do that, but you can do that. You do have the ability to do that, even if it's just talking about things to come within the Disney company. That would be easy to do. You already know what it's going to be. So that could be something that you feature in Tomorrowland of what is coming tomorrow. but yeah, we're still offering new frontiers in science, adventure, and ideals. And we're still hopeful for a peaceful, unified world. So the rest of it still stands. It's just that atomic age part.
I mean, maybe it will come back around. I mean, I hear that they're
You never
building more
know.
nuclear power plants and stuff. So
There's
yeah,
that.
maybe it's time for that to come back around. They were just aiming too far in the future when they wrote this, so
We all knew Walt was ahead of his time. So,
that makes sense.
but where should this plaque go?
Again, like I said, this one actually was in the parks. I'm not sure where it was originally when they reopened Tomorrowland, when they put the Astro Orbiter where it is today at the entrance of Tomorrowland. That's actually where the plaque was, right in front of the ride there, facing the hub. And I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense right there. I'm not sure why they got rid of it, but I don't know if it was part of the redesign. If you guys have been to the parks lately, you'll know that there's a section of the entrance to Tomorrowland where it's kind of a what do you call it? A temporary wooden wall that's around a planter. And it's been a temporary wall now for way too long. Again, every time we complain about one of these, they fix it. Like we complained on a podcast about Adventureland where they had walled off the bathroom wall for over a year. And right after we complained about it, they took that down. So hopefully they're
Have that
listening
touch.
right now. And next time we go over there, this plaque will be back. So, and that wall will be fixed.
I hope so. That is my wish for the 70th anniversary, is that they finally do something with that space. Ever since they took what we call the French fries down from Tomorrowland, the big like rock work structure thing coming out of either side.
There are rocks of the future.
Oh, I'm sorry, rocks of the future coming out from either side of the entrance to Tomorrowland there as you walked toward the Astro Orbiter. Ever since those were removed and the planters put in place, that construction wall has been there. So not sure what's going on, but that would be a fine place for a plaque. Would be right there, not on the construction wall, but have some sort of like planter situation and have the plaque right there. That would
For
be great.
sure.
Yeah, especially if those walls are up to just camouflage something. Well, you can put something permanent and put a plaque on it. That'll
Yes,
Yeah,
there is
camouflage it with a plaque. It's not a hard thing to do, I'm sure.
No, when the rock work was there, the French fry rock work, there was a cast member door. I believe it was more of a maintenance door for the lagoon, the Pixie Hollow Lagoon right there. And so that's why that area is still accessible to maintenance people, because the lagoon is still there. But that's why they can't just put grass over it or something like that, because there's an active doorway there.
It's hard to update plumbing. It's true.
Facts.
Well, they can make it look something different than a wall and still have access to it and put the plaque on it.
We're confident that they have a plan for it. We're just impatiently waiting for it. So
Well, it's Tomorrowland, so I guess we have to wait.
exactly.
Been waiting a few years. It's not.
I'm sure that's like an inside joke over there. Like, oh, we're saving that for tomorrow,
Right?
Wink,
Boom,
nudge.
boom.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go.
I want to say the plaques changed over the years, but I haven't been able to find those photos that I found before. This wasn't the most researched episode, I believe.
No, we're trying something different. We're more off the cuff and conversational.
Whoa. Yeah, this one seems like it's the same text. It just looks funnier. There was one I found where it was like an auction of a plaque from like before the 60s. I found it from the 60s, but it seems like it reads the same too. But there's one I found that was even older. And I found it again, but I can't find one where I can actually read what it says. And I remember the words were different. And I was like, that's very odd. Like, how do you have a difference? It was weird because the dedication plaque changed, but it was still like attributed to Walt Disney on 1955's opening of Disneyland. I'm like, there's no way he said two different things, guys. Especially when it's being recorded, so you're not fooling anybody. I can't find them anymore. So maybe if we find them, we'll put them in the blog.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why the blog exists. Not only we're sharing the photos, but anything that we happen to uncover between recording and publishing the blog when the episode publishes. That's where it'll be. So yeah, be sure to check out the blog. Again, we're in the park.com/podcast. That's where you can find the blogs to all the episodes that we have. And that's where you can find your We're in the Park game packs. So if you are at Disneyland or California Adventure, just roaming around downtown Disney, and you're looking for something new and fun to do, go check out the details and discover what you've been walking past each and every time with the We're in the Park game pack. Discover what you've been missing.
It's a really good time, everyone. What are you doing? Just go to the site, use podcast 10, save your 10%. It's going to be really worth your time and money. Let's do it.
You can even play over multiple visits, and especially right now because the parks are going to be jam-packed for the 70th celebration. So might as well get a game pack. You can play over multiple days. You can stop and start whenever you'd like. And we always keep it up to date. You have that scan before playing card right up front. So be sure to scan that before you start your game each time. And if there's an image that is hidden by holiday decor construction walls, taken down momentarily, we'll give you that digital card replacement. So you always have the latest and greatest set of cards and images and details to find.
Oh, hey, actually, I found it. All right. So on the original version of the plaque, on the spot where it said in science, adventure, and ideals, on the updated version, it said science, adventure, and ideas, which is a very slight difference, but it does have a different meaning. So it's not about what you like want to have happen. It's just your thoughts in general. So it's an interesting twist on it. I don't know if it was a typo. It could have been. It could have been that simple, but it seems provocative to me. So I'll think about it and decide which one's more futuristic. What do you guys think?
That reminds me of the differences between the dedication plaques of California Adventure. Between Michael Eisner and Bob Iger. They're close, but they have different meanings. And so that it just reminded me of that. Just one letter off and it changes the meaning of things.
Yeah, like I was saying, though, it's weird, though, because both of these say at the bottom of them, Walt Disney, July 17th, 1955. You know, so yeah. Like it could very well just be a typo. I don't know.
Very interesting.
But anyway, moving on.
And if they are listening on Friday when this drops, we will be at the park on that Saturday.
Very true. We will be at the park on July 19th. Hopefully, we got our virtual queue to go see Walt, and we'll have our tissues handy because there will not be a dry eye in the house.
Walt bought 2025. Let's do it.
Do it. All right. So if you have had fun exploring with us today, be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode. And if you have a minute to spare, it would mean the world to us if you could scroll down and leave us a 5-star rating and review. Your feedback helps more people find us, and that's a dash of magic to our day. Really just shows that you're listening and that we're doing something awesome. And I'm going to take a second right now to read one of those reviews. We have one from Texas Girl 22, who says, they've been teasing us for a while now that this podcast was coming out, and I'm so happy it's finally here. Amanda, Kevin, and Kim have a contagious love for theme parks, and I'm so thankful that they're spreading the joy with others. Their game packs are so much fun and adding an even more exciting adventure while you're at the parks. Way to go, guys. Can't wait for all to come. That was her 5-star review, and that's just so awesome. She called it so excited about this podcast, and we're so excited that you are loving the episodes that we're putting out each and every week. So that's awesome. So if you have a couple minutes to spare and want to leave us a 5-star rating, just like Kimberly did, just like Texas Girl 22 did, then definitely just scroll down to the bottom of Apple Podcast, or I think it's at the top of Spotify, or wherever you're listening. I'm sure there's a way to leave us a review. Go ahead and do that. And yeah, just means the world. So thank you so much. And if you want to keep the adventure going, join us over on our private Facebook group, We're in the Park Explorers, where we share the photos, the bonus content, continue the conversation with fellow detail spotters just like you. The link is in the show notes. Just answer a few quick questions and you're in. And of course, if you're ready to explore your favorite theme park in a whole new way, Disney or otherwise, we don't discriminate, then check out our self-paced Seek and Find games at we'reinthepark.com. Be sure to use code podcast10 for 10% off your next adventure. And thank you again so much for listening. Until next time, we'll see you somewhere in the park. Bye for now.
Thanks for exploring with us today. If you're ready to take your park experience to the next level, check out our Where in the Park games. They're self-paced seek and find adventures designed to help you explore the parks in a whole new way, whether you're visiting for a birthday, a family gathering, a date night, or even a solo trip. You won't find our images on rides, in lines, or inside shops or restaurants. They're just out in the open as you wander around the park. Get ready to experience a deeper appreciation for your favorite theme parks. Head over to we'reinthepark.com and use code PODCAST10 to take 10% off your next adventure. Until next time, we'll see you somewhere in the park.